On behalf of the Gulf Times, I welcome you again to one of the episodes of Diplomatic Dialogues, a space where we celebrate how cultural diversity builds not only stronger people, but stronger nations. Today, I have the pleasure and the honor to introduce His Excellency Ashraf Khodjaev. He is the first Uzbekistani ambassador here in Qatar. The embassy just recently opened 1 year ago. Let's see a bit more about the journey of His Excellency here in Qatar. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us today.
Thank you. Welcome to the embassy.
So today we can start with the beginning. As I mentioned, you are the first ambassador of the Republic of Uzbekistan here. How has it been? How has been your experience? And how is it to have the first embassy of the Republic of Uzbekistan here in Qatar?
Well, being the first ambassador, of course, it's a huge privilege. But at the same time, it is a responsibility because there is so much expectations from elevating the relationship between Uzbekistan and Qatar to the new level. And my experience here in Qatar, of course, was very wonderful. I think it's one of the most amazing countries in the world. And I think it's a very nice place, not just for the family life, but it's also for the diplomatic activity, for the diplomatic professional work, because the country is very dynamic. There is so many events taking place in this, and there is so many embassies here. So the diplomatic life here, I think, for any ambassador, it's one of the best places to be posted.
That's very true. And speaking about diplomacy, there is a very good relationship between the Republic of Uzbekistan and Qatar. How many Uzbekistani nationals live here in Doha?
Currently, the number of the nationals of Uzbekistan in Doha is around 800.
Wow.
But maybe it's not so big number, but the interesting thing that the number is increasing because Doha becoming is one of the very interesting destinations for our people to come, to work, to get education here.
Which would you say are the basis of the relationship between Qatar and Uzbekistan?
The basis, of course, it's a very close and relationship between the two leaders, between His Highness Amir and the President of Uzbekistan, Mr. Shavkat Mirziyoyev. 2023 was a very historical year in our relations. Amir, His Highness, visited Uzbekistan twice. He was in Samarkand and then in Tashkent, and then our president paid the state visit to Qatar. And of course, these high-level visits creates a very solid foundation for the developing relationship between two countries.
Yes, of course. Speaking of development in the relationship, now in 2025, Uzbekistan is hosting a very important event, the GCC Central Asia Summit. Could you please let us know a bit more about it?
It is the second summit. The first one was in 2022 in Jeddah. This is a very new platform which was created a few years ago, but a very promising platform because it's creating a very good opportunities for the both regions, I mean the GCC and Central Asia, to enhance the connectivity, to open the new avenues for economic cooperation, for providing regional security. And I believe that the upcoming summit in Samarkand will be very historical, and it will open the new horizons for the cooperation in many fields, for the development of sustainable development and mutually beneficial development in our regions.
Speaking about cultural diplomacy and the connection between Uzbekistan and Qatar, specifically in arts and culture itself, how do you see the importance of cultural diplomacy established in the embassy?
I believe the cultural diplomacy is something very important because this direction is, it's always very comfortable for both sides. And we actually, when I arrived to Doha in February 2024, we actually started from the cultural diplomacy. We organized the first cultural days of Uzbekistan here in Doha. It was very successful. because we created the atmosphere of Uzbek culture, arts here in Doha. And then, of course, it was very successful exhibition of the Uzbek art during the Doha Biennale, Doha Design Biennale. And then, the last year in October, we hosted the Qatari Cultural Days in Uzbekistan. So during 1 year, we had a number of the cultural events, which created a very good atmosphere, where the people can understand more about the beauty of our country, about the cultures and how it's close to each other. Because the culture in Qatar and Uzbekistan, there is so many similarities, so many traditions which are very close to each other. And I think it's very important. The people-to-people contacts are very important.
Yes. Your Excellency, is there any event that is upcoming soon in the cultural area that you would like to share with us?
Yes, we have big plans for this year as well. So we're planning a number of exhibitions here in Qatar Cultural Village, for example. We're planning the first joint orchestra.
Wow.
So the orchestra, which will be performed by the young musicians from Uzbekistan and Qatar.
Wow.
So I believe it will be a very unique project, which will show the true friendship and the future of our young people, and their creativity.
Wow, that's amazing. And as you mentioned, Uzbekistan is a very beautiful country. I think you have one of the most beautiful landscapes in the world. And for our people that are willing and they're curious to go and visit the Republic of Uzbekistan, what would be your personal recommendations if they could ask His Excellency Ashraf Khodjaev where to go and when to go to Uzbekistan? What would you recommend us?
Of course, must visit places. First of all, it is Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva. This is three major tourist destinations in Uzbekistan. It's historical cities with the thousand years of history, and it's cities along the Silk Road, and we still have so many architecture monuments for 700, 800 years old. And if people travel to these cities, of course, they can feel the spirit of the Silk Road, the mix of the cultures and different civilizations of different periods of our history. And there is a mix of the Uzbek traditional cuisine, dress, and many other things which people definitely will love.
They will love it, right?
Yes.
And in gastronomy, I have heard you are amazing.
The Uzbek cuisine, gastronomy, it's one of the best in the world. And I'm not just trying to promote my country, but this is true. And we will be very happy to have more visitors from Qatar to Uzbekistan.
And now let's say the other way around for the people of Uzbekistan that see you and see that how happy you're here and they want to visit Qatar. What are your recommendations towards tourism in Qatar?
Actually, the number of tourists from Uzbekistan to Qatar is growing very fast. Last year, we had more than 50,000 tourists from Uzbekistan.
Wow, that's
and it is becoming a very interesting destination for our people. And they really come and enjoy the world-class infrastructure here in Qatar. And my recommendation for them will be, of course, first of all, to visit such beautiful places, which I love to visit. It's Old Doha Port.
Okay.
And then, of course, it's Qatar Cultural Village.
Yes, wonderful.
I think these two places are very nice, and walking in the Corniche is also something very unique. And Souk Waqif, of course.
Oh,
this
Souk
is
Waqif.
where we can go and feel the history of Qatar.
Speaking about digital diplomacy and the importance of digitalization in a world where also artificial intelligence has a big role in how the world develops politically, what is your opinion on the digitalization of diplomacy?
Digitalization is something that we cannot avoid, and we should definitely benefit from it because it creates new opportunities and new capabilities for us to increase our productivity, to increase our creativity, and to do more than we can do without these things. And digitalization in diplomacy is also very important. Why? Because our is work with the people, and with the digital tools you can improve the interaction with the people, like using the social media, for example. The social media is something that is becoming very important in diplomacy, because you can interact with people directly without mass media.
And let me say for our followers in Gulf Times that His Excellency Ashraf Khodjaev is very active in social media, so you can follow on the embassy and himself as well.
Thank you.
Before we go to the last two questions, I would like to suggest a rapid fire question. So I would ask something and you should say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
What is your favorite place to spend an afternoon here in Qatar?
Old Doha Port.
What is your favorite place to spend an afternoon in Uzbekistan?
It's a riverside of the Anhor River in Tashkent.
What is your favorite Qatari dish?
Majbous.
And your favorite dish from Uzbekistan?
Plov, of course.
The newspaper, specifically Gulf Times newspaper, do you prefer to have digital version or you prefer printed version?
Digital.
And karak or gahwa?
Gahwa.
Now, going to our closing questions, what would be a message you would give to all the young people that see you, that admire your work, and they are aspiring to have a job in the diplomatic sector?
Professional diplomat is a very interesting job, actually. I can say it after more than 20 years of my experience in this profession. And of course, I encourage all the young people to explore this profession, but it requires a lot of efforts, of course. It requires some academic knowledge, but it's also practical things, because in diplomacy, the practice is the most important. But thanks to diplomacy, you can meet a lot of people. You can see many, many places in the world. And you can really contribute to the development of the relationship of your country with other countries. I think this is very important to any people. So that's why my message will be: join the diplomatic life, be the diplomat, try to be very honest, because the honesty is very important in diplomacy.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for giving us this view of the beautiful Republic of Uzbekistan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, and see you again in one of the episodes of Diplomatic Dialogues.